listening to Spectrum on Air, the colourful voice of radio.
Well, hello and welcome. You are live with us and the wonderful Mr. Steve Blacknell. We are going to be talking about this book and the man who has been known as a celebrity thrill seeker, Steve Blacknell. Hello and welcome.
Hello, colourful radio person. Yes, I am that person, I'm afraid. Last time I looked, but lovely to see you both. And you've got a Christmas tree in the background, and I've got the remains of my washing at the back. But never mind. It's only live and it's only television. But lovely to see you both.
Live, and we have a professional television trainer and presenter, so there's no pressure on us and Mick in the back office here, making sure that this goes out to you live. So, Steve, your book. Come on, tell us why now? Why write your memoirs now?
It was mainly written in a bit of a state at the back of cabs at various points in London about 20 years ago. And it lay gathering dust, and I did about 4,000 or 5,000 sort of, honestly, piles of paper this big. And then through my club in London, the Waffle Club, the networking club, I met a publisher. She said, "You should publish this." I said, "You serious?" She said, "Yeah." So they helped me. They're called Old Treacle. They're absolutely amazing. And they did the design of the book, helped me with the editing. Oh, incredible. So I really couldn't have done it without them. That's the truth. And there were nearly 300 swear words in it, and they took out 190, I think. The 300, I took out 190, beginning with F, and a few others that I can't even give you abbreviations for. And they took out 2 chapters that they said were too filthy. But what we've got now is Tales from the Bedroom Wall.
We have indeed. And it's actually written as you speak. So when you read the book, you're listening to Steve now live. This is just how the book is written. And if I tell you, you've got some really rude remarks from people. So Toya Wilcox apparently said, "They say it's never good to meet your heroes. I just wish I'd never met Steve." Oh,
lovely, Toya. Yeah. That was an horrible. Bob Fripp probably told her to write that. No, to be honest, I just thought it would be funny to have insults from people. The best one is Nostradamus, when I predict that this book will do all. That was hysterical. But of course, the great thing is, you guys, is that in America, they don't get it. "Gee, now, why are they telling you the book sucks and you put on the back?" Well, yeah, it's called irony, you twit. So basically, so of course, but it is fitting, I think, with the book that it is very, it's self-defecating. That's not right, is it? Self-demeaning humour, whatever it's called. So I come out of it looking like a bit of an arse, but a lovable one.
Where does your quick wit come from? Where did you inherit that quick wit?
But the quick wit, that rhymes with bank manager. I don't know what a quick wit. I have no idea. I was blessed with quite a funny father, and my mum made me laugh occasionally. I don't know, to be honest. But it's. I think like you guys and me, to do this job or to even give it a go, you've got to love the sound of your own voice somewhere. You must resonate, and I actually do. And so I'm happiest when I'm talking, and I can't play anything, can't really do anything. I just rap it, and some of what comes out makes sense sometimes,
In the book, you talk about your early career, and most people might not know that you started off in a nursing career.
Indeed. Well, eventually I ran out of patience. I've only been saying that. My wife always says, "That's not funny. Don't say that."
Boom, boom.
Every time she said, "Don't say that thing again." Well, we did. We were all sort of hippies in Dartford in Kent, and I won't go into it too much, but it was the lure, I've got to be honest, of drugs. It was a hippie time. And we didn't know really where to go after school. We'd done our A levels, and we heard that nurses, there was lots of drugs on the wards, and this is the honest truth. And we thought it would be a right good adventure. But of course, adventurous it was. But when you're wrapping up dead bodies when you're 21 years old, it gets a little bit serious, and it's not so laughable. But it was an amazing thing to do. And I think I love all things messy. I love talking about toilet and wounds and things. I don't know what it is, a morbid desire, but like I say, it was a hell of a thing to do for a 20-year-old. But it was a good grounding for me. Yeah, it was. And but I always say there was more drugs in the hospital than I ever saw in music. And that's the honest truth. And more sex as well, because I lost my virginity to my staff nurse, a big black lady. And, we fell in love, or I fell in love with her, but then I found out she slept with not only me, but all the staff, the patients, and all the domestic staff as well. But it was really weird times. Great stuff, though.
Time. But in a way, it's helped, hasn't it? Because I know now with Maggie's health, it's stood you in good stead to be able to look after her in a really special way that you might not have been prepared for later on in life.
It's a very good point, because I said to her, when she got the cancer that took her hair and my favourite breast away, the one I liked most. But, I said, to be honest, I said, thank God you didn't marry a big hairy thing, because I actually enjoy looking after people. I do. And it's not because I'm a great person. I get a real kick out of it and I love it. So you're right, absolutely right. Yeah, she was a very lucky lady. Yeah,
I'm sure she feels very lucky, Steve, as well.
Yes.
So, from a young man, what we need to explain is Tales from the Bedroom Walls is all about the posters that you had around your bedroom. It wasn't Tales. It's not exactly Tales from the Bedroom, although you just had a little snippet of that. But you had all of these posters all over your walls, and you had a very, very special first girlfriend, didn't you, or second or third?
Well, first love, really.
First love.
And, I was in Dartford one day and I saw a mate of mine walking down the road and he had his arm around this girl and she turned around and that was it. And it was love at first sight. It was the first time I'd experienced anything like that, whacking of the heartbeat, of the going all weird. I found out she was a vegetarian and within a week I was a vegetarian too. Funny that, isn't it? And we had all these things to talk about. And she told me that she did play a bit of music here and there. But along the road of our relationship, I just kept hearing these names. David Gilmour of the Pink Floyd. What? What's his name? Lindsay Kemp, who taught Bowie how to dance and mime, And it was, I was a bit, at the time, I was actually working as a toilet cleaner, and but the point of it was I really wanted to get in the business, and I was so messed up. I said to her, "Look, I know you're getting on in this game, but I'll hear your music when I get into the business," which is a very selfish thing to do. But I did. I got a job at Decca Records, and I rang her up, and I was over there that night, and she said, "Turn round, don't look at me." Played the piano and she played a few songs and I turned round. I said, "Well, that wasn't you, was it?" And she sort of blushed and said, "Yeah." And that was Kate Bush. I mean, incredible. Absolutely. So I knew then I was in love with a complete and utter genius. So we would sit there and plot that one day I'd introduce Top of the Pops and she'd be on it. Well, we got halfway there.
Yeah.
Because I never really reached that. But and as time went on, of course, things happened to her, and she had really to let me go because there wasn't time for me really. But bless her. And in the book there is a section called My First Love, and I think in any memoirs, your first love's important. So I think you write about if it was a lady with the Green Groves, it doesn't matter. The fact that Kate went on to world stardom, which didn't surprise me at all, is totally irrelevant. And she has actually she's accepted every word in that chapter. She's not vetoed. A few things were taken out, but bless her. And so we're in sort of touch. But she continues to astound the world, and it's incredible.
Well, I mean, Stranger Things, what a revival for her music from, the Netflix series Stranger Things, which we love watching, and how lovely to hear that and go back into that era. Now, she wrote Man with the Child in His Eyes about you, didn't she? Why did she write that? I mean, you are a child. You're an adult, but you're a child at heart.
I'm not a child. Nah. I don't know is the answer. The story of it is very quickly. About 12 years ago, I had a car crash. I was on my back for a year. And I had spinal problems. We had no money and we were going to lose the house. My wife said to me, well, we got to sell something. And I said, well, we've got nothing to sell. We were going to lose the house. And I realised that I had the handwritten lyrics to Man with a Child, and I sold them to save the house. Not a thing that particularly amused Kate, I think, because her manager is one of my oldest mates as well, but which doesn't help at all, funnily enough. But anyway, the long and the short of it was that, yes, they were, and I had to sell them. If I had my time again, I'd do it, but I'm not really proud of it. But on the other hand, I had to look after me and the missus,
Well, things happen, don't they, in life? And your life has certainly been one big roller coaster, hasn't it? It's not been a laugh a minute. There's been some serious moments that you both have had to contend with. So at this point, shall we just cut and listen to A Man with the Child in His Eyes from Kate Bush?
Lovely.
I hear him before I go to sleep and focus on the day that's been. I realize he's there when I turn the light off and turn over. Nobody knows about my man. They think he's lost on some horizon, and suddenly I find myself listening to a man I never known before, telling me about the sea, all his loves till eternity. Ooh, he's here again, the man with the child in his eyes. He's here again, the man with the child in his eyes. He's very understanding, he's so aware of all my situations. When I stay up late, he's always waiting, but I feel him hesitate. Oh, I'm so worried about my love. They say no, it won't last forever. And here I am again, my girl, wondering what on earth I'm doing here. Maybe he doesn't love me, I just took a trip on my love for him. He's here again, the man with the child in his eyes. He's here again, the man with the child in his eyes.
Wow, wasn't that lovely? Does that gives me goosebumps? I don't know about you, Duncan.
It certainly does.
Just say this is Lord Duncan of the Folly for anybody
Me
who's
too,
not
me
wondering
too.
who this person is in the corner here. That was beautiful, wasn't
Hello,
it?
Duncan.
Hello, Steve. Lovely to see you
It's
again.
hello, mate. Yeah, and you too, sir. It's a real lip quiverer, isn't it? I was going goosey. As I said on the Jeremy Vine show a couple of weeks ago, it makes the arms on my hair go up. And he said, "Are you sure that's right?" He said, "Oh yeah, the hair on my arms go up because when I hear it, I just get all dismumbled." It's such a beautiful, beautiful bloody record. To me, it's a perfect record. There's nothing you can say about it. It's just so simple and beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, she just
Amazing.
sang it so beautifully, didn't she? Well, what we're going to do next is we're going to give you a little montage of photographs that Steve sent in to us so that you can have a little look. He can go and get another cup of tea or another cup of coffee while you're looking at the montage, because some of these photographs are going to lead us into some more questions for Steve when we come back. So just stay with us. Don't go away because we've got lots more to talk about. So good, this telly lark, isn't it, going out live. Now then, you may well have spotted in some of those photographs a picture of Gary Newman and an aircraft. What was all that about, Steve?
Well, let me see. That was for our show called Riverside, which was my entry into the devilish world of telly about 1981. And for that, was it? Yeah, pretty sure it was Riverside. And, well, because Gary Newman was a pilot and still is. And he took me and a cameraman up in his plane and scared the living daylights out of me. And of course, I was not as seasoned as what I am now, and I was panting myself, wetting myself. It was really one of the most terrific things I'd ever done, let alone trying to do an interview with someone. So if that was a rehearsal for Concord and Phil Collins, gosh, what a rehearsal! I know which one I prefer, and it wasn't the Gary Newman one.
What did Gary Newman have to say afterwards? Because I guess you went a whiter shade of pale on that trip.
Whiter shade of pale, right? I can't remember. I really can't remember.
No.
He's aged very well, hasn't he? I'm sure he's had something done to his hair. I just can't work out what it is. But anyway, yeah. But no, he was a nice chap. Nice chap. Yeah, very good.
The amount of people that you've met, that schoolboy lying in your bedroom with all of these posters all over your wall. I don't suppose at that moment in time you ever realised how many doors would open. You met Kate and you kind of stumbled across a lot of people, didn't you, that then became really well-known artists of their day.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a thing, if it's taught me anything, there's a word called serendipity, another word that I can't spell, but serendipity. I believe now coincidence and serendipity are all around us, and stumble is a good word. I think one does. So that's something like a question time. I think, yes, one does. One does stumble over them. There's one particular thing. In 1969, I was at a pop concert, experimenting with all sorts of funny things. And on the stage, there were three bands. One of which was a band called Judas Jump, and the sax player was from Avian Corner. one of my boyhood heroes. I ended up living with him in Hollywood because his wife turned out to be my manager. That was weird. On stage also with the Incredible String Band, who are my heroes, and I ended up living with them about 3 years later. The weirdest one, though, was Ginger Baker's Air Force, Ginger Baker from Cream, and had Denny Lane from Wings on guitar. And this very strange woman with silver boots. And I remember I was so starstruck. I was thinking, wow. Anyway, cut to adverts, commercials. That's 69. About 20 years later, I'm on Hollywood Boulevard because I'm living there. And a friend of mine who I knew, she said, oh, this is Catherine. And these legs came out of a car. We ended up getting married, but weirdly, it took her about 2 months to tell me that she was that woman on the stage because she was married to Denny Lane. And then how weird's that? I mean, that is not coincidence. You've got to be kidding. I just think it's just like a radio antenna. If your antenna is up to receive the broadcast waves, you'll get it. So for some reason, I was lucky. But it's a big word, serendipity, yeah. But I think it exists.
Yeah. And I'm quickly going to your book again and referring back to it. Bill Wyman is a very good friend of yours. You've known each other for over 40 odd years. What a friendship. How did that come about?
Just through interviewing William, really, all those years ago. And I introduced her to my wife before I went to Hollywood, and they ended up together for 2 years. So Bill's sort of become family, really. He's a wonderful man and just endless. When we meet for lunch, it's just joke after joke after joke. Never ever mention Mick Jagger to him because he'll leave the room. But I think you were at the launch, Suzanne. Yes, you met him there, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yes, that's right. Well, he's 89 now, and
incredible.
Yeah. So he's a lovely man and very. Yeah, I know he's a famous, but he's family to us, and he was a real gent to Maggie, and we're in close touch all the time. So it was very fortunate, yeah.
Well, I'm going to cut to Duncan now because Duncan, as our viewer and listener, he's got a few questions to put to you. So nothing like being put on the spot live, is there?
Lovely.
So this is over to you now, Duncan. First question.
Well, Steve, I'm a great Gary Newman fan. So I can honestly tell you, we saw him 2 weeks ago in Norwich, and he is fantastic. And his daughter's now also performing as well, and she's wonderful, Raven. Anyway, I, as a child of the sort of 60s, I loved the 70s music, mate. And I just wonder, with all the genres what were in that decade, disco, new romantics at the end, everything was there. What were your thoughts and your thinking of that decade? How did you see it through your eyes?
Good question. And that was the decade that I really got into music because I got my job at Decca 75. So by the turn of that decade, I had been working with Steely Dan and God knows, so Moody Blues. And my favourite band just about of all time, Split Enz, who I looked after. But yeah, it's a good question. David Hepworth, may know the broadcaster, David, who did Whistle Test with us years ago. David has this thing about the 70s. He reckons it was the decade of all time. And when you look at it, yes, I guess you have the one-off hits, you have the glam and the glitter, then you have the punk rising against the glitter as a direct opposition. And then, of course, towards the end of that decade, the punk faded and, let's do something different, new romanticism, all kicking against each other. So I think it was a very active period. Personally, for me, I suppose, personally, they were my musical times. But like you, I'm a 60s guy but I spent predominantly 80s for me because that's what I'm known for. But you're right. It was a wonderful time of music. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I thought it was so much fun. I read it. I know there's a lot of dark times with the strikes and all that, but the music scene, I just thought there was so much there.
There was, yeah. Some awful one-off hits, dreadful novelty records. Absolutely, Chicory Tip, for God's sake. But But yeah, but there were some awful records in the 60s and the 80s, and more awful records in the 90s too. But yeah, you're right. It was very varied, wasn't it? Yeah, a good chocolate box. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, another little question for you. Other than your parents, because obviously these people would have inspired you, because you would look up to them, obviously. Who particularly has inspired you?
I've got to say, this comes into, I teach presenting now, and my hero, my God, and I think of most people I know who have enjoyed a television career look up to David Attenborough more than anyone there probably is on the planet. The man is 90 plus now, but even back then, he could be sitting on an ice cap 10 miles away from the blooming camera and go, here we are. Now, here we are. And you feel he's next to you. Yeah. Oh, what an amazing. But I suppose the DJs of the time, Alan Freeman, Fluff Freeman, people like that. But I was never a DJ. I've tried it and I'm rubbish. So, but they were the people that I aspired to be, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Now, in all the interviews you have ever conducted,
yes,
who is your favourite person you interviewed? And also, who is your least favourite?
Well, I can start off with the least one. That's really because I love talking about Paul Weller and what an arse he is. So Paul Weller, I mean, I was so annoyed with him, I stopped using his shampoo for a week. But and I've never said that before. But no, Paul Weller was a bit of an ass, and we were live in America. I can't remember where it was, and. I said, well, when we go live, Paul, what do you want to talk about? He said, well, let's talk about the new album. So we went live in front of millions of people. And I said, Paul Weller, welcome. So now this new album, and he said, I don't want to talk about the new album. And so that was him trying to trip me up. Dave Stewart was always problems. David Stewart and Fergal Sharkey was a rascal too. Probably the interview that wiped me off the face of the earth was Tina Turner. What? Tina Turner? And I had like an hour and a half with her, and I was so up my behind at the time, I asked her out. I mean, I rang her. I rang her manager and said, Roger, do you think Tina would come out for dinner? And he said, you've got to be joking, mate. And I thought, well, she must be lesbian then. Why would she say no? But that's when you're earning all the money and you really think you're God, But I think that was the energy of that woman was absolute a force. When she moved in, when she walked into the room, the walls sort of bent, like power of her. Yeah, amazing. In fact, we used to call her I Can Turn Her Over. I don't know why we called her that. It wasn't sexual, but I Can Turn Her Over. Yeah, how is it with I Can Turn Her Over? But yeah. But of course, there's with interviews, as we know, sometimes you just say to a person, is there anything you don't want to talk about? Yeah. As a be polite. And it was with her. She said, I don't want to talk about Ike Turner. No way. And that was a good measure. But asking Tina Turner out, blooming hell.
Only you.
I know. Crazy.
Right, I've got another one for you. It's a little bit light-hearted for you. As Christmas is fast approaching, what was your best gift you ever received?
Oh, my life.
There you go.
Best
You've never
gift.
been asked that.
Never been asked that, no. I'm trying to think. I really could not tell you. I suppose, without being too soporific about it, looking back on it, the last Christmas I had with Mum and Dad. That would be the best one. Because up until about 3 or 4 years ago, what am I, 73 now? I was 70, I think, and I had 2 surviving parents, which is incredible. Very, very, very lucky.
Very lucky.
And now they've gone. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. Joni Mitchell, 1968. I miss them so much. So as we all do, that's where we come from. Yeah. So that would be the answer. But materialistically, another word I can't spell. I wouldn't have a clue actually. Materialistically, yeah.
Yeah. All right. The last one I have for you, mate. And thank you very much for answering these questions.
Oh, Duncan, a pleasure.
What would you say has been your greatest achievement, other than this today, obviously?
Of course.
And what's been your biggest regret, other than this, obviously?
Well said, sir.
Invited him on.
Let me just think. The biggest regret. Not many of. Well, I really did. I suppose I could go into little ones. I suppose a regret. I mean, the book wouldn't be here if I'd done it right. But not listening to people in Hollywood. I had a manager, and because I was fairly good at telly, I thought I can conquer this lark here, this acting lark. But I refused to take class, and I was with two of the biggest agencies in Hollywood. I was with William Morris and Gersh, and they were grooming me for stardom. But in the end, I couldn't really crack it. And I made 5 dreadful films, and I was the worst thing in them by a long, long way. So that would be my regret. The thing I'm most proud of is, funny enough, is my Duke of Edinburgh's award. That's what I'm really proud of. When I was sort of on the telly a bit, I was Prince Philip's corporate speaking partner. So he would, this is Blacknell, and I'd get up there and warm the audience up for Phil to come up and do this and that. I did several things with him. But the Duke of Edinburgh's award, yes. And I was a spokesperson for it, and I would give out medals and stuff at St James and Buckingham Palace, and get slaughtered with the gin and tonics that they serve at Buckingham Palace. Absolutely minced by the time you get up there. But when my mum came up and she met Prince Philip, that was, and I just got back from Hollywood, and of course Philip is primed. He's a brilliant man. So we'd have someone whisper in his ear, "Oh, Mr. Blacknell, you've seen the Return to the Green and Pleasant, and I see you've brought your sister with you." And of course, my mum went, "Oh, oh, that was it. That's probably my best moment." Yeah,
that's a magic moment. That is, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. You brought your sister with you.
Do you know what my sister would have said? No, she's just had an easier life than me.
Well, those things, these people, I mean, what a performer, a line of 20, 30 people to come up with some little gem. Yeah. But, a born performer, that man. But my mum never forgot it, ever. Loved it. In fact, the photo of it is, it's up there on the wall. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, Steve, let's talk about A Flock of Seagulls. Because we are rapidly, we're racing through, aren't we? And I knew we would. But tell me about your involvement. We're going to listen to a track from The Flock of Seagulls, but you've been a passionate admirer of those since day dot, haven't you? In fact, did you not discover them?
I'm afraid I did. I'd had a few drinks, and I was at a place called The Venue in Victoria. I was pretty off my trolley, to be honest, and I was looking at a band called Betty Bright and the Illuminations, who were sort of B-, could do better next term 80s act. And the support band were these 4 people in yellow dungarees with funny hair. And I thought, what a lot of drips. And of course they start, and now I'm going, now there's the hairs there. I was absolutely entranced by the music, and they played this thing, I Ran. Yeah. And I went, what? And I thought, yeah. So next day, and I was working at Jive Records, and I went to the boss and said, I Ran is a top 10 hit in America. He said, are you sure? He said, I'm certain. He went to see them and signed them, and it went to number 5, I think, in America. And that's just one of the only times I've been right. You never talk about the times when you screwed up, as we know. But it was, so I, as a present, the head of the record company, he sent me on tour with them in America, and we sold 20 million records, and the rest, as they say, is history. But that song, the 80s never go away. In fact, I'm joining a new 80s station next year because, the 80s are forever here. The decade that just won't go away. And songs like this, they just are going to be there forever. And I'm very, very chuffed that just for once I got it right.
Well, let's have a listen to Flock of Seagulls and I Ran, but don't go away because we're going to have a little montage after this song as well, because Steve probably needs a cup of tea like we do. But don't go away because we've got some more questions to put to Steve and some more talk about the book, so stay tuned. Quite good.
Join me and you'll see a whole new world open up before you. So, join me, and you'll see a whole new world open up before you. Hello, Steve Blacknell here, and I've finally written me memoirs, Tales from the Bedroom Wall. It's all about meeting your musical heroes, losing millions, Hollywood heartbreak, from my first love Kate Bush to Mr. Phil Collins and Concord. Addictions, rock and roll madness, I tell you, and the fact that anyone can be an idiot if they try hard enough. It's available July 9th on Amazon and at all good bookshops. And of all the books out this year, I can guarantee this is going to be one of them. Ta-da!
Yes, good evening, Michael. Moneypenny told me to read Steve Blacknell's book, Tales from the Bedroom Wall. I really wish he hadn't.
I am holding this press conference today to tell you that you can order Steve Blacknell's new book, Tales from the Bedroom Wall, directly from www.steveblacknell.com. I can also tell you that having read the book myself, I am very confident that world peace is never going to happen.
I have a dream, and that is to read Tales from the Bedroom Wall by Steve Blacknell.
Oh yes, Steve Blacknell, Sexy Sexy Man. I have his new book, Tales from the Bedroom Wall. Can't sleep without it.
Oh yeah, it's Steve Blacknell, a former footballer. Victoria has told me to read his book, Tales from the Bedroom Wall. No idea why.
I have been advised to read the new book, Tales from the Bedroom Wall, by Steve Blacknell. Why on earth should I?
My wife Kerry has asked me to order Steve Blacknell's new book, Tales from the Bedroom Wall, on July 7th. Should be a hoot. I may even have to go the next waffle lunch in Covent Garden.
I have been investigating why Steve Blacknell has written a book called Tales from the Bedroom Wall. I am looking behind every bush for clues, excuse the pun.
Steve Blacknell's new book. Joke.
Oh, Steve who? Oh, Steve Blackface. Who the?
Itty here. I am writing in jail, reading Steve Blacknell's book Tales from the Bedroom Wall. It's pretty good.
Well, there you go. That was a little commercial break. And often what I say is it was time to get your cup of tea, your cup of coffee, your glass of wine, or your pint of ale, which is what we've done.
And I've nothing.
Been off there.
Excellent. My kind of life.
Very professional.
Absolutely.
So, Steve, let's talk about your TV training school that you have in London. So not many people might know that this is what you do. And if they are interested, how would they find out about coming and taking some sessions with you?
Right, I'm just going to say it was formed really some years ago because Frank Boff taught me everything, what not to do on telly, and that's what I try to do, telling people what not to do. It's called the Central London School of Media and TV. That's television. I've got to get it right. They'll kill me if I don't. And we work out in Soho, and we have a studio there that we rent now and again, and we have up to 6 or 10 students, hopefully sometimes corporates, because that's where the money is. And before COVID, I was teaching a lot of the cruise lines how to, because, you know, a lot of the staff on cruise lines, they're very well, sort of like butlins, slapping their thighs, you know. Yeah. So I used to say to them, well, that's Heidi high. Now let's go Heidi low. Nearly low, and just intimate with the camera. So I remember everything that Frank told me. In fact, he told me when the first day on Breakfast Time Live, he said to me, he took me over and we were just about to go on air. He said, listen, I want to, you can imagine the language, but it was, look, if you want to sleep with anyone on the production crew, don't sleep with a director or a producer, sleep with the autocue lady, because that's the person who can, yeah. So I learned everything from Frank. Absolutely amazing. So I modelled myself on him. I think he was a consummate performer personally. And a sticky end really. But yeah, so that's what we do. And it's great fun. There's a team of 4 of us. And, the daily course, I can't remember. I think it's 349 or 399. I can't remember. But in that, you pretty much, I think it's like driving. You can actually teach someone how to present television in a day. Then you've got to practice for about 10 years. It's just like driving. You can actually teach someone how to do it, but then you've got to take lessons. Yeah. So, so it's just exactly the same thing. How have we
done today then, considering we've got no auto cue? How have we done today?
You've done marvellous, absolutely marvellous. Nothing beats live. Absolutely.
This is my first time ever, so I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Wow. No, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it. And you are, your father, you are Christmas embodied, Duncan, with that incredible beard. Very true. Absolutely amazing. It's real, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, look, watch. Yeah. Bing, bing.
I can't grow it up here. It's all slipped.
It's slipped down. That's right. Yes, yes. That's what I heard someone saying about the nose hair slipping into a beard. But anyway, so that's what we do. That's what we and I absolutely love it. And it sounds a bit weird, pouring something back, but I was fortunate by learning with some of the greats. Marvelous.
Because early on in your book, you talk about your MTV days. Now, MTV is not going to be doing what they normally do Christmas time. It's all going to stop, isn't it? But you were one of the first VJs, weren't you, for MTV in Europe?
Well, I was the first VJ in Europe. Yeah, me and a chap called Mike Allen from Capital Radio, who's long gone. And it was Alan Parsons of the project. Alan Parsons directed us. So we did that, and that just went out in Swindon in this country. I think it was then Holland. But MTV in America, an exec from EMI and myself went to New York and sold the show to Bob Pittman, who was the co-founder of MTV. And London Calling was an hour-long show that ran in America and had upwards of 20 million viewers. It was a big show. And that's where I met Tina Turner and asked her out for London Calling. So because it was huge, the show, MTV had changed everything on the landscape of music. No longer did you have to go through the Midwest and escape, escape the slings and arrows of outrageous townsfolk looking like Mick from A Flock of Seagulls. Imagine that, in the Midwest. So what you could do now, a video would just play and play and play. And a mate of mine, Bruce Woolley, and he co-wrote Video Kid the Radio Star with Trevor Horn, and he talks about it all the time, that it shaped so many things. For him, a career, and it shaped, just the landscape of rock TV, really. Incredible. So it was a joy to be part of that. It was marvellous. So we had a good run. We had 18 one-hour shows, and it was wonderful.
That was London Calling, and there wasn't much coaching in those days. You know, when I read your book, it's like you were thrown in the middle of these things, and it was like, yeah, okay, I'm on then, and off you go, and the light shone, and your wit and your sheer tenacity just sort of had to come to the fore, didn't it?
Thank you, madam. I appreciate that. I think you've only got two places to go, up or down, You sink or swim, that's it. But it wasn't live. It was all recorded and beautifully put together by a chap called Nigel Cole, who I didn't like at all, was the director. He went on to direct Calendar Girls and all sorts of jolly things. But we had an amazing crew. I mean, and I was getting an astronomical amount of money, ridiculous amounts of money, as were a lot of the people in the 80s. When Jonathan Ross eventually burst onto the scene, I don't know when that was, 84, 5, perhaps, I can't remember, when Last Resort was on. He was entering an arena of total cash. It was so much money around. It was ridiculous, absolutely ludicrous. But great times, and of course you think it will never end, and it did.
And it did.
Yeah.
You did some spells on Top of the Pops, if I remember rightly, as well, didn't you?
Not me. My book was shown. I wrote in 84 with a foreword by Jimmy Savile, can you believe it? The history of Top of the Pops. And it was shown Simon Bates, big fat Simon Bates. He showed it on, he was slim then, on Top of the Pops. And then I wrote with my good friend Patrick Humphreys, the author. I think, again, you probably met at the book launch. We wrote the 50th anniversary of Top of the Pops. And when I approached the publishers to say, what about Bill Wyman for the foreword? They said, not really. No, that's a bit risque. I said, oh, come on. And they settled on Cliff Richard, for God's sake. So, so Cliff Richard did the foreword. I never met him for the book. But the book came out just when the Jimmy Savile stuff was hitting. So we had all our interviews were cancelled with the BBC, and we sold about 3 copies. But, hey-ho.
And Cliff Richard wrote the foreword?
He did, yeah. I never met. Well, I have met him before, but I've got to watch it. But he's been on risky territory for quite a while. But it's probably untrue, of course. But I don't know. But you can't follow Jimmy Savile of all people. Jimmy bloody Savile, oh dear. Yeah,
I actually met him.
Did you?
Yes, I did, because it's a long story, which I'm not so sure we should go into.
Probably not.
But I did meet him because we were supposed to dance on Top of the Pops with Pan's People. It never materialised, something to do with the equity card. So
really?
I had a near miss. Yeah.
Oh my, yeah, probably right. Yes, you're probably right. You were a dancer.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Well, you weren't in Pan's People, were you?
No, but we were going to dance with them on one episode of Top of the Pops, and it never materialised for one reason or another. But we were there in the studio, so we met all of the DJs at the time.
Wow.
They were all. We met the Sweet, Lindsay DePaul,
Oh, bless. Yeah.
Lovely lady. So we met all of those, and when you're about 14, you're in awe of it all. So, but what really surprised me was that it always looked packed when you watched it on the telly.
Incredible.
But actually, there was hardly anybody there. We were all shoved to the front where they were all miming to their tracks,
Yeah.
and it looked like it was packed, but it actually wasn't. It was half empty, but we were just filmed. And that's the beauty of film, isn't it?
It was shot brilliantly and directed very well. You had that, probably, I don't know, 40, 50 people in there tops, if that, But the first time I went, there was the days of the star system, really. Wow, which has been completely destroyed by reality television and Simon Cowell. The star system's gone. So if you go on the Traitors and lose, you can make a record and go to number one. It's ridiculous now, but they are.
Did you watch the Celebrity Traitors?
I've never seen it. I was told about it today. I've never seen it, actually, but I use that only because I've read about it today. But I only watch YouTube these days. I don't watch real telly because it's horrific. So I just watch YouTube. Yeah, but there you go.
So we're going to save the best bit to the last, I think. Well, I'd say the best bit because so much of it is...
goodbye.
Yes. If people want to buy your book, and I have got my copy, I'm going to the Waffle Club in December on the 15th. And so we ought to talk a little bit about the Waffle Club, Steve, and what that is all about and why did you create it? And if anybody wants a signed copy of your book, if they can let me know, I will pick it up and I'll make sure I get it from Steve on the 15th. So there you go. Duncan's asked for one, so I'll make sure I get that for you. So tell us about the Waffle Club.
It's a bit embarrassing. Well, put it this way. Again, it was like 20 years ago. How can I put it without us going off the air? We weren't drinking, but we were taking something. We were talking a lot. Drugs, in other words, about 20 years ago. And the murky past, long gone now. And one of our numbers just said, God, you're waffling a bit. And I said, oh, yeah, Waffle Club. That's a good idea. So it's been going 18 years. We've got, over the Christmas, we've got 130 coming, I think, over 2 days, 140. But the thing is, everyone's pushing it a bit now. So in about 5 years' time, we're going to call it the Old Grey Waffle Club. So it'll just be a more sedate version of what goes on now. But it's not. It started as a bit of a drink up, but it's become much more now. It's much a family now. We look after each other. If someone's low or whatever, we take care of each other, and it's lovely. And it's an idiot-free zone, and I've cleaned that up. So it is an idiot-free zone. And over the years, I think I've kicked out about 12 people for not being nice. So every time...
Can anybody come, Steve, or do they need to reach out to you if they want to come? If they're in TV or media or music, it's mainly for those professionals, isn't it?
Well, it's mainly, but we have milkmen. We had a sausage maker recently who came along, who talked to John Otway, about making some hot dogs. So we thought, wouldn't that be great? Hot dogs, a product of the waffle, John's own sausages. But we have the odd celebrity. We had Tom Conti a while back, but I revel in it because I tell everyone you've been there, and I tell everyone to shut up in no uncertain terms. And Tom Conti was talking what I was. I said, "Oi, Conte, shut it!" And his face was absolutely marvellous. And so we have the odd celeb, but it's not about that. It's about exchanging information, about trusting each other and helping each other on, and it works, and it's huge fun. Lovely.
Yeah. So we're going to talk now about that infamous journey on Concorde with Phil Collins for a very, very special event in history, actually, because it was phenomenal, wasn't it? So the stage is yours, Steve. Tell us about that Concorde journey with Phil Collins, why it happened. And I think I saw in the video that Noel Edmonds flew the helicopter that you were in, but I'm going to let you tell that story.
I think Noel Edmonds delivered Collins. Did he deliver Phil Collins to the... I think he did. It's all a blur. I think he delivered Mr. Collins to the Heathrow. I think that's what happened. But then I was there to meet him and going up the steps and stuff. And I got chosen because of that MTV show, because I was known over there. And I got the gig. By far, someone asked me the other day, what's your favourite quote? And my favourite quote, not just from the book, but I think in life, is when I rang my mother up. She said, what are you doing tomorrow again? I said, you know Phil Collins? She said, is that the bald bloke? I said, that's the one, yeah, the bald man. He said, I like him. I said, yes, he's very nice. And he said, what's going to happen? He said, well, I'm going to go down to Heathrow, then we're going to get on Concorde, then we're going to fly to JFK, and then get on a helicopter and go to Philadelphia. And there was a little pause, and she said, how are you off for underpants? And that was my mother, me trying to impress my mum. You can't do that. But of course, when we got there, things went wrong. Cameras were failing. But the actual journey itself, technology was not great. So all you really heard, a lot of it was crackle. And when I eventually got back to London, I walked into the BBC bar about a week later and the entire place stood up and went... But now, thanks to AI, you can actually hear what we said, which is quite boring, really. Why did you do it? How are you? What did you have for breakfast? Just a chat, you know. But it was... and the driver was actually eating a sandwich when he got in the cockpit. I just thought it was hysterical. Eating a sandwich, going a supersonic sandwich, you know. It was marvellous. But it was a great day, great day.
It was a great day. Well, we're going to play out to Phil Collins and we're going to play out to that last song. I can hear something in the background. What can I hear?
That's someone queuing the record up.
It is, isn't it? Famous last words. We're going to listen to Against All Odds, which, of course, he did sing, didn't he, at Live Aid?
Yes,
but before we let you go, Stephen, enjoy the rest of your day. The book, where can people get it if they want a copy of your book?
Right, it's on Amazon. That's the Kindle, hardback and paperback, and the audio, which is voiced by someone sounding very much like me, is now out on Audible. So that's the audio version of... And what a wonderful, wonderful Christmas present for someone that you don't particularly like.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Wembley. Good afternoon, Philadelphia and the world. See if I can get through this. This is called Against All Odds. Just let you walk away, just let you leave without a trace. When I stand here taking every breath with you, ooh, you're the only one who really knew me at all. How can you just walk away from me when all I can do is watch you leave? 'Cause we shared the laughter and the pain and even shared the tears. You're the only one who really knew me at all. So take a look at me now. Well, there's just an empty space and there's nothing left here to remind me, just the memory of your face. Take a look at me now. Well, there's just an empty space, and you coming back to me is against the odds, and that's what I've got to face. Oh, I wish I could just make it turn around and see me cry. There's so much I need to say to you, so many reasons why. You're the only one who really knew me at all. So take a look at me now. Well, there's just an empty space, and there's nothing left here to remind me, just the memory of your face. So take a look at me now, 'cause there's just an empty space. But to wait for you is all I can do, and that's what I Take